think you were hinting at it. I'll go ahead and jump to my next guy, someone I'm super excited about this year. And like, I didn't see this coming at all, but it's Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper right now is ADP wide receiver 12. And I find myself getting him in the third round of drafts a lot. And that's perfect for me because that means I've either gone running back, and Cooper can be my wide receiver 1 with 2 stud running backs, or I'm going running back receiver, and I have like Mike Evans and Amari Cooper or something ridiculous like that, or a Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper, which is an insane wide receiver core with a ton of upside. So I look at this ADP of wide receiver 12, and I'm all in. He finished the season last year as the wide receiver 10 on 119 targets, and I actually see him getting slightly more targets in 2020, even though they did bring in CeeDee Lamb. So this is a very popular stat in the fantasy industry. Randall Cobb and Jason Witten are both vacating 83 targets each. You've heard that everywhere. But I see CeeDee Lamb truly taking over a lot of that volume. I don't think he's going to cut into Amari Cooper's workload as that true number 1 receiver on the Dallas Cowboys. And look, so Cooper had those 119 targets last year, and no, he didn't miss any games. But he was definitely affected by injuries last season while he was quote unquote active. Like there were game days where he was on, like supposed to be on the field, and he just barely got any snaps. So if you look at last season, Michael Gallup actually played more snaps than Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup missed 2 games. So Amari Cooper, we all know he's the wide receiver 1 on this offense. He just was not on the field because something was bothering him due to that leg injury that he had. So like, Amari Cooper should have returned a lot more last season. And through the first 10 weeks of the year, he was the wide receiver 4. Like, I know in our league, Amari Cooper was like being talked about in the same realm as the Michael Thomases of the world, because through over half of the season, you were getting that production from him week in and week out. Yep. And it's just telling. When you look at the snap count, it's just so telling. Like, Chris Conley and Larry Fitzgerald played more snaps than Amari Cooper last season. Wow. So just knowing that he's going to be on the field more often in a pass-happy offense and a run-happy offense, they're just going to be a crazy offense this season.
Here's the thing. Dude, Kellen Moore has had the Cowboys running at third in pace of play. And what goes into the equation of pace of play? It's a good O-line, a good quarterback, and a bad defense. All of those come into play here in Dallas. So I love it. I think there's going to be so much just to go around. When all 3 Cowboy wide receivers were on the field last year, they were all top 31 in fantasy points. So I think there's plenty of volume to go around. The CeeDee Lamb pick does not scare me at all, and I think that's good for guys like us who want to get that fantasy value on a name like Amari Cooper. So I love the pick there. I love all the Cowboys this year, honestly.
Yeah, dude, I'm hyped. Like you said it. It's like a Venn diagram with like bad defense is one of the circles, good O-line is a circle. So like the pace of play is there. And I look at this team and I'm like, dang, Dak Prescott's going to throw the ball 600 times. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that means Zeke can't get 300 carries. And then I step back and look at the numbers. I'm like, oh, wait, Zeke can get 300 carries and Dak can throw the ball 600 times because they are going to run a crazy amount of snaps this year. So I'm with you. I think Cooper is still the best receiver on this team. He was third in yards above replacement in 2019, according to Football Outsiders. So, look, the points might come a little bit inconsistently with Amari Cooper, but I have no problem taking him. And then when I look at the other guys on that team, you mentioned Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. Gallup's going at wide receiver 33. Lamb is going at wide receiver 40. I'm perfectly fine to take a shot on those guys as well. The Cowboys ran 11 personnel on two-thirds of their plays last season. That means there are 3 wide receivers on the field. So the opportunity is going to be there for all of them, and I think all 3 could finish in the top 30 this season.
Wow, I like that as a hot take out there. And we look at Gallup. To me, he's in that same tier. When you look at any of your cheat sheets, right? He's going to be with the Jarvis Landrys and the Tyler Boyds of the world. Gallup, to me, take Tyler Boyd and just remove some of the stability, add in a little bit more of a ceiling on a week-to-week basis, and that's how I think Michael Gallup is. So I love him as a 2 or a flex option. There's just so much to be had here in terms of fantasy for the Dallas Cowboys.